Imagine a world where the most coveted royal title can be stripped away in an instant. A title that once opened doors to the highest echelons of power, fame, and influence, gone in a single stroke. What does this mean for the future of the monarchy and the public figures who once wielded it? Stay tuned as we explore the shocking, unprecedented decision that has left the world reeling and the royal family forever changed. The timing of Meghan Markle's public display of affection with Prince Harry seemed almost choreographed to mirror the unforeseen move by the UK Parliament that has reverberated across the globe. Meghan, ever the picture of grace and beauty, effortlessly commanded the spotlight. Yet, beneath the polished exterior, the reality of the situation became increasingly clear as the world watched. Buckingham Palace, a place synonymous with centuries of royal tradition, rarely encounters days such as this, days when history is not just observed, but actively rewritten. In a bold, unexpected, and unprecedented action, Parliament moved swiftly to strip Meghan Markle of her royal title, sending shockwaves not just across London but around the world. This wasn't a casual remark or a passing headline. This was a seismic event with implications that reached far beyond the British Isles, casting ripples that were felt from every corner of the globe. Whispers filled the corridors of power in Westminster and the palace, with the press latching onto every word, every nuance, as they scrambled to understand the significance of this historic moment. Tabloids roared with speculation, offering theories and conjectures about the motivations behind the move. Meanwhile, royal watchers, those who had long observed the ins and outs of royal life, found themselves scrambling to decode the unexpected decision. But one question loomed large. What does this really mean for the future of the British monarchy and for Meghan Markle herself? Could this mark the beginning of a profound transformation within the royal family, one that no one saw coming? A historic shockwave had indeed begun, one that would reshape the royal family's foundations and set a new course for its future. In what is undoubtedly one of the most extraordinary decisions in modern British history, Parliament made the unprecedented move of stripping Meghan Markle of her royal title. This was not some fleeting rumor whispered in the back rooms of Buckingham Palace, nor was it the latest leak to emerge from palace sources. This was a formal, institutional action taken at the highest levels of government. The ramifications of this decision were immediately felt, not just within the United Kingdom, but across the globe. For the first time in living memory, Parliament had directly intervened to revoke a royal title, marking a pivotal moment in the monarchy's history. This wasn't just a symbolic gesture or a political maneuver. It was a constitutional recalibration, one that redefined the very boundaries of royal authority, influence, and privilege in ways no one had anticipated. Meghan Markle, who had once proudly held the title of the Duchess of Sussex, suddenly found herself in a situation where her position within the royal hierarchy had been fundamentally altered. The title that had once carried with it immense weight and prestige, the title that had opened doors to the highest echelons of society, was now quietly and decisively stripped away overnight. The doors it once opened, the social connections it afforded, the institutional power it conferred, everything that had once come with the title was now gone. The carefully crafted ambiguity that had allowed Meghan to navigate the often murky waters of celebrity culture and royal protocol, to walk the line between private individual and public figure, was now a thing of the past. The consequences of Parliament's decision were swift and undeniable. Politicians, journalists, and royal experts scrambled to fully grasp the implications of this unprecedented move, not just for Meghan Markle's personal brand, but for the monarchy as a whole. News outlets worldwide pored over every detail, examining each nuance, while insiders within the palace, who had long seen the tensions brewing, quietly acknowledged the gravity of this historic action. This wasn't just a change in Meghan's life. It was a pivotal moment that affected the very public perception of the monarchy itself. The move to strip Meghan Markle of her royal title was not just a personal blow. It represented a broader shift in the monarchy's relationship with the world. The decision had far-reaching consequences that affected not just the Sussexes, but the monarchy at large. The royal family, its members, and the power it wields were now under intense scrutiny in ways that hadn't been seen before. The long-standing institution was now facing a challenge unlike any it had encountered in modern history. The revocation of Meghan's title sent a resounding message about the monarchy's position in the 21st century, one that spoke to the balancing act between tradition and modernity, duty and personal ambition. For Meghan, the title of Duchess had represented more than just an honor. It had been the cornerstone of her public identity. It had given her credibility, legitimacy, and access to a global stage that most celebrities could only dream of. But now, with the title stripped away, the very foundation upon which her public persona had been built began to crumble. Meghan Markle, once a duchess, now found herself a global figure without the institutional backing that had once given weight to her voice. The title of Duchess had carried with it not only the respect of the monarchy, but also the inherent credibility of centuries of history and tradition. It had opened doors to conversations with world leaders, public appearances at royal events, and opportunities to influence public discourse in ways few could. Without the title, however, Meghan's influence was suddenly far less potent. The difference between fame and royal legitimacy became starkly evident. In the world of celebrity, attention is fleeting, and influence can be easily swayed by the whims of public opinion. But royal legitimacy, backed by centuries of tradition, institution, and authority, has an enduring power. It is rare, respected, and hard to replicate. Meghan's public persona may have remained, but her credibility, that unspoken power granted by the crown, had evaporated. The doors that once opened effortlessly were now firmly closed. Opportunities that were once within reach suddenly felt distant and out of grasp. For the monarchy itself, this decision was not just about an individual royal or a personal brand. It was a decision that spoke to the very heart of the institution. The monarchy is built upon the principles of duty, responsibility, and public service. A royal title is not a personal asset to be wielded for fame, fortune, or personal gain. It is a responsibility, a symbol of service to the crown and the people. When that duty is abandoned or misused, it threatens the very integrity of the system itself. The monarchy is a living institution that must evolve and adapt, but it cannot afford to lose sight of the principles that have kept it intact for centuries. The revocation of Meghan's title marked the monarchy's desire to protect its integrity and to ensure that the symbols of royal power remain tied to the values of duty, service, and responsibility. The move was a decisive step in reinforcing the monarchy's authority and ensuring that the royal family remains above the fray of celebrity culture and personal ambition. For Meghan Markle, this shift was not just a personal loss but a dramatic reconfiguration of her role in the public eye. The title of Duchess had not only shaped her career, but had provided her with a platform to amplify her voice, influence, and personal initiatives. Without it, her position within the royal family and the public's perception of her would be irrevocably altered. The world had witnessed her transformation from a Hollywood actress to a member of the British royal family, and now that transformation had been undone. The revocation of her title symbolized a seismic shift in the balance of power, not just in the royal family, but in the broader context of public influence. What had once been a dual source of power, celebrity and royal legitimacy, had now been reduced to a single, much weaker force, celebrity alone. In the aftermath of Parliament's decision, the reverberations were felt not only in the UK, but across the globe. The monarchy had acted decisively, reshaping its public identity and making it clear that royal titles are not commodities to be used for personal gain. Instead, they are symbols of duty, trust, and responsibility, values that cannot be compromised. Meghan Markle's life and career may never be the same again, but the monarchy, with its centuries of tradition, remains as powerful and unyielding as ever. The question now is not just what this means for Meghan, but what it means for the future of the British royal family, and how it will navigate the delicate balance between tradition and modernity in a rapidly changing world. The decision to revoke Meghan Markle's royal title went far beyond the mere loss of an honorary distinction. It was a profound statement about the future of the monarchy, its authority, and its evolving place in the modern world. With this act, Parliament sent an unambiguous message. Royal recognition is not something to be used for personal gain or individual branding. It is a privilege, one that is inherently tied to service to the crown and to the people it represents. This was a sharp reminder that the monarchy, as an institution, is grounded in values of duty, accountability, and enduring principles. It is not a platform for fame, celebrity, or self-promotion. The revocation of Meghan Markle's title was not a personal attack against her, but rather a message about the integrity of the institution itself, a message that royal titles should not be treated as commodities to be leveraged for personal advantage. These titles represent a sacred duty to both the crown and the people, and they should be treated with the utmost respect. This moment marked a pivotal turning point, not only for Meghan but for the entire British monarchy. The decision set a powerful precedent. Royal titles must be earned through service, not through personal ambition or the pursuit of fame. In an institution that has been built and sustained over centuries, this was a transformative decision, one that altered the very fabric of royal life. For the first time in history, a royal title was stripped of its official recognition, and the far-reaching consequences of this decision rippled across the globe. This wasn't a fleeting, isolated incident. It was a defining moment in time that will be analyzed and discussed for generations. Far from being simply a scandal or a drama, this decision will go down in history as a turning point in the evolution of the British monarchy, an event that fundamentally shifted the way the monarchy is viewed and understood in the 21st century. Behind this monumental decision lay years of careful observation and deliberation. Parliament had been quietly monitoring the use of royal titles for some time and had noticed a troubling pattern. Meghan Markle and her husband, the Duke of Sussex, had been using their royal titles for personal and commercial gain in ways that strayed far from the responsibilities traditionally associated with them. From media projects to brand collaborations, they had used their royal status as a stepping stone to build their own personal brands, without fulfilling the core duties expected of members of the royal family. This not only blurred the line between personal ambition and public duty, but it also undermined the very integrity of the institution that had granted them those titles. Additionally, there were growing concerns over Meghan's involvement in political affairs in the United States, even as she continued to hold on to her royal title. Her public actions in the American political sphere raised alarms about the potential for royal titles to be used for influence and financial advantage, which could set a dangerous precedent for the monarchy. The very nature of royal recognition, once tied to duty and service to the crown, was now being threatened by a system in which titles were being exploited for personal benefit. This situation, left unchecked, could undermine the credibility of the monarchy, sending a message that royal honors were simply tools to be wielded for personal influence, rather than symbols of responsibility and public service. As Parliament moved forward with their decision, it became clear that this action was not just about one individual or one couple, but about preserving the very foundation upon which the monarchy was built. The monarchy cannot afford to allow royal titles to be treated as personal assets or sources of profit. Instead, those who hold these titles must do so with the understanding that they are symbols of a much larger, more important institution, a responsibility to the crown, to the people, and to the rich traditions that have sustained the monarchy for generations. In essence, Parliament's decision was a recalibration of what it means to be a member of the royal family, and a reminder that titles are not to be taken lightly. They are not for personal ambition, they are not for fame, and they are not for self-promotion. They are a privilege that comes with the weight of history, responsibility, and an unwavering commitment to the service of the crown. This decision, while shocking to some, was a necessary one that reaffirms the values of duty and service that have kept the monarchy strong and relevant for centuries. It is a message that royal titles are not merely titles, but are closely tied to public service, and they must be used with respect for the institution they represent. The shift caused by this decision was not just personal for Meghan Markle, but institutional for the monarchy. The revocation of her title opened the door to a broader re-examination of the role of royalty in the modern world, of how royal titles are granted, used, and revoked, and what they truly mean in an era where public figures are constantly under scrutiny. This decision was not just a message to Meghan, it was a message to the world, reaffirming that the monarchy is an institution built on service, tradition, and duty, and that it will not tolerate the exploitation of its symbols for personal gain. The debate in Parliament was never just about one couple, it was a matter of safeguarding the monarchy itself. This decision reached far beyond the personal circumstances of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. It was about the very integrity of the crown. The monarchy's credibility and authority are rooted in the belief that royal titles are tied directly to public duty and service. When these titles are used for personal gain, the institution's core principles are jeopardized. Royal titles carry significant weight because they are not just symbolic, they represent trust, responsibility, and an unwavering commitment to the crown. If that trust is broken, the entire system is at risk of crumbling. Parliament's action was, therefore, not solely a response to the actions of Meghan and Harry. It was about protecting the monarchy's integrity for future generations. It was a clear statement that the monarchy cannot be exploited for personal ambition, and that royal titles must be earned through duty to the people and to the crown. While the decision may have seemed sudden to the public, it had actually been the subject of careful deliberation for many months. Lawmakers knew this decision would send ripples through the monarchy and the country, so they approached it with the utmost caution. Behind closed doors, constitutional experts, legal advisors, and parliamentary leaders consulted extensively to ensure that every detail was considered and every step taken with precision. They recognized the gravity of the action, fully understanding that the monarchy's authority was at stake. This was not a hasty, reactive decision made in the heat of the moment. It was the result of a calculated, well-thought-out strategy rooted in legal and constitutional precedent. The move was not one of dramatic spectacle or public outcry. Rather, it was quiet, methodical, and resolute. The monarchy showed its strength by acting swiftly and decisively when its very integrity was on the line, making it clear that, when necessary, it could still wield its power to protect its core values and traditions. For Meghan Markle, the revocation of her title was not just a professional blow, it marked a profound shift in her entire public identity. The title of Duchess had been the cornerstone of her career, transforming her from a Hollywood actress into a member of the British royal family. It provided her with an unparalleled platform, one that carried the weight of centuries of history, tradition, and institutional recognition. Her opinions, her projects, and her public appearances were no longer just personal. They were seen through the lens of royal authority and the legitimacy that came with it. Without that title, however, the institutional power that once elevated her public presence evaporated. Meghan's personal brand, built on the foundation of the royal family's credibility, now lacked the institutional backing that once gave it weight and influence. In the world of fame and celebrity, attention is fleeting. Public interest shifts quickly, and opportunities can vanish as easily as they appear. But institutional authority, especially that which comes from the monarchy, is enduring, rare, and incredibly difficult to replicate. Meghan may continue to be a public figure, but without the royal legitimacy she once held, her reach, influence, and opportunities were dramatically reduced. The doors that once opened easily, those that came with the royal title, were now firmly closed. Meghan's ability to navigate the world of power and influence, once bolstered by the weight of royal recognition, was now limited. Without the title of Duchess, she was left with the transient power of celebrity alone, a power that, as she was learning, is often as fragile as it is fleeting. In the end, the revocation of Meghan's title was not just a matter of losing an official designation. It was a profound transformation of her role in the world. The institutional backing, the centuries of tradition, and the responsibility that came with her title were gone, leaving her to redefine her public persona in a world that no longer saw her through the same lens of legitimacy. It was a powerful reminder that royal titles are not simply ornamental. They are deeply tied to responsibility, service, and trust. Without those ties, the very foundation of what makes a royal title meaningful disappears, and with it, the influence and credibility it once conferred. Meghan Markle's journey, once defined by her royal status, now finds itself at a crossroads, with her title stripped away and her place in the royal family redefined, forever changing the course of her public life. This decision marked a seismic shift in the balance of power, one that reverberated beyond Meghan Markle's personal journey and reached the very core of the monarchy's enduring influence. In a world where celebrity can fade with the whims of public interest, the monarchy, backed by centuries of tradition and the weight of history, remains unshaken. The title of Duchess had afforded Meghan Markle unparalleled access to the highest echelons of society, where doors that once opened effortlessly to her now remain firmly shut. With this act, the world was reminded of the immense power and prestige that royal titles carry and how fragile that power can be once it is lost. Titles tied to royal authority are not easily reclaimed. Meghan Markle, while still a familiar face in the public eye, now finds herself navigating a new reality. The rules of the game have changed. The balance of power has shifted, and now, more than ever, it is the crown's enduring presence that defines the stage. The revocation of Meghan Markle's title was not an isolated incident, but part of a larger, broader pattern observed within other European monarchies. Lawmakers in the UK look to examples like Denmark, where Queen Margaret II made the bold and controversial decision to strip several of her own grandchildren of their royal titles. Though her decision sparked intense public debate and backlash, it ultimately strengthened the monarchy's clarity and authority, removing any ambiguity about the roles and responsibilities associated with royal recognition. The Danish monarchy had reasserted that royal titles should never be treated as mere accessories or privileges to be used for personal advantage. The British Parliament, taking note of Denmark's approach, understood the broader lesson. Decisive action, although unpopular in the short term, is essential to preserving the long-term stability and integrity of the monarchy. In this context, Parliament's decision to revoke Meghan Markle's title was grounded in a clear, institutional purpose. The decision was not just a swift and dramatic action, it was a carefully calculated, strategic move. At its heart was the principle that royal titles are not personal property to be wielded for private gain. Royal titles are institutional tools, tied to public duty, service, and responsibility to the crown. By revoking Meghan Markle's title, Parliament was reinforcing the idea that royal privileges must be earned through dedicated service to the monarchy and the people it represents. This was not a move driven by personal animosity, but by a commitment to uphold the integrity of the institution itself. The impact of this decision was profound. Meghan Markle's title may have been stripped, but in doing so, the monarchy's authority was strengthened, and its fundamental rules clarified for future generations. Parliament had drawn a firm line in the sand, emphasizing that royal recognition is not a right to be taken lightly. It is a privilege that carries immense responsibility. By affirming this principle, the monarchy ensures that the royal family remains a symbol of service and duty, not self-interest or personal ambition. This decision, while controversial, was ultimately an investment in the monarchy's long-term health and stability, ensuring that its future remains rooted in the values that have defined it for centuries. In the end, the revocation of Meghan Markle's royal title may seem like a personal loss for her, but it was a necessary step for the preservation of the crown itself. As the monarchy moves forward, it does so with a renewed sense of purpose and clarity, stronger in its resolve to protect its integrity and ensure that its symbols of power are respected, preserved, and above all, tied to the ideals of duty, service, and public responsibility. The monarchy, ever resilient, has once again demonstrated its ability to adapt, ensuring that it remains relevant and unyielding in the face of modern challenges. So, what do you think about Parliament's decision? Was it the right move to protect the monarchy, or does it signal a troubling shift in how we view royalty? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video if you found it insightful, and make sure to subscribe for more in-depth analysis of the British royal family's latest developments. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a story that could change the course of history.